Hi guys, it's Nancy, and I have 3 new holiday Betterpress plates I want to share with you. As you know, Spellbinders is coming out with more and more plates, so you may want to check out the website pretty frequently. New releases are always on the 10th of the month. But before we get started, I wanted to show you some things I've learned along the way. This is totally addicting. I'm going to warn you right now. I like this. I'm going to say a little better than foiling. I know that's impossible for me to say. However, I like it because it's quick, it's easy, there's no heat, there's no electricity. I basically can get some really cool results in a very quick manner of time. So, a couple things I wanted to tell you that I learned. So, number one, I know that I showed a video where you don't need this Betterpress system and you can just use your die cutting system and an embossing plate, which you can still do. However, the secret to this system is this magnetic shim. This is like a self-healing cutting mat on the tap, but it has a pretty heavy duty magnetic shim underneath. Excuse me. So that's the secret, because this keeps the plates from shifting. I do think I'll probably buy another one of these just because then it makes it easier for me to switch out. But in terms of wear and tear, it is going to stain. Some of my lines did kind of come up, but as far as it getting scratched up and stuff, I don't see any major damage here on where you have to have another plate. I think I would just want another one so that I could do multiple prints of different things at a time and just pop these out, okay? I noticed that playing with the shims does matter. If you have a really tight die cutting system, then you don't need as many shims. If you have a looser die cutting system, like if you're not using the Spellbinders Platinums, then you may want to add additional shims by putting some extra heavy cardstock underneath. But the shims, definitely play with those. It's going to make a difference, just like it makes a difference with the paper and the ink that you're using, right? And the other thing I learned is that it does not matter how you put this top plate on, whether it's backwards, forwards, upside down. There's no wrong way of doing it. I thought that was going to be a concern in the beginning, but you can turn it, you can flip it over. It's really not going to matter. It's going to work in any direction, okay? I do like to try to keep mine with the Betterpress face up, and then this on the back. And that's because you can feel that this is actually laser printed on the top here and not on the bottom here. And the cheat that I've been sharing with you guys from the beginning is I use this very low tack Sizzix sticky grid. It is the Sizzix sticky grid, and there's 2 kinds. They have the permanent and the removable. You do not want this one. See how it says permanent? Do not use this one, okay? It will rip your paper. You want to use this one, which has the grid things and it shows that it's used in their die cutting machines, but it works perfectly. It'll go 5 to 10 passes for me. And just, again, depending on the quality of the paper you're using, it's got the 2 side. I cut it down to 5.5 by 4.25. Those are the size of cards I make. And then I line it up, because I found with using tape, a couple of things happens. Number 1, sometimes the tape rips the paper. Number 2, sometimes the tape gets in the way and actually hinders your letterpress. So that can be a problem sometimes, especially if you do like the fold up tape method and you put that kind of underneath. So by cutting this to your actual panel size, it gives you an even area. And again, for those of you that kind of need an extra shim, this is very thin, but it gives you a little bit of an extra shim there, okay? So let's move on to the new Betterpress plates. Keep in mind too, you can also hot foil these, which is really great. So the first one that I picked is the Poinsettia corner, and you can see it's a beautiful corner image. This is going to look pretty either colored or letterpress. And then the Merry Christmas sentiment does have a die, so you can die cut that. So foil it or letterpress it. That's that one. This one is the Santa Claus. Have a holly jolly Christmas. He's pretty nice size Santa. And again, the die cuts out the sentiment. And then I have the sentiment Believe, which I've been saving to use for him. That came out of the Snow Garden hot foil sentiments. And the last one is the Season's Greetings Evergreens, which has this nice row of evergreens, and then Season's Greetings sentiment, again with the die to cut out. So you get 3 sentiments. Each of these has a sentiment, and then you get these designs. So I'm going to start with the one that I think is going to be the easiest. I've got my ideas here in my head written down over here, what I want to do. So I'm going to start with this Season's Greetings. And I am using white pearl brushed cardstock from Spellbinders. That's this one. And it has a pearlescent sheen to it. And then in the background, I have a piece of the forest cardstock. Okay, so I'm going to put my white pearl on here first. And I have this cut a little smaller than 5.5. I think this one is 5 1/4 by 4. So there's going to be a small border, which is fine. Okay. And then I want to use some dark green ink. And for this, I'm going to use the Archival Peeled Paint dark green ink. And I thought this brushed white cardstock would look nice because it does have these open areas that make it look like these are trees that have snow on them, just depending on how you want to use them. Bringing my platinum in. Again, you can use the Big Shot, Big Kick platinum. I was told you can use the switch. I'm using the 6-inch platinum. You can also use the 8.5-inch platinum. You cannot use the Gemini Junior, the Empress, or the Cricut machines. The old original Cricut. Pretty. And it has that pearlescent, so really gives us that kind of snowy look. All right, I'm going to move this aside and we'll pull that off in a second. Okay, and I want to use a new embossing folder to kind of matte layer this. It's a 3D embossing folder. So I have Universal Platform A, Universal Platform D. Remember, with the new Spellbinders machines, you get these universal platforms. If you have the older Spellbinders platform machines, you can buy just these platforms to use the 3D folder. So you don't need to buy a whole new machine. You can buy just the 3D platforms. Okay, but this one with that dark green cardstock is called Evergreen. It's 3D. I'm going to spritz this with a little water off to the side. I believe I have this cut down to 5.5 by 4 1/4. Just a light spritz to miss that. And we're going to do A plate and D plate. D for 3D. And we're just going to roll that through. Okay, look at that. So fun. All right. And I always tell you guys, experiment with your papers and your inks. I do get this beautiful letterpress effect. So this is pressed in. That ink works beautifully. And now I have this snowy scene. And I can map this on here. I think I'm going to cut this down a little bit, actually. Let's cut this down to 5 by 3 3/4. Make it a little bit shorter. Okay, and then all I have to do is mount this, letterpress my sentiment or foil my sentiment, add that, and we have a beautiful scene. But I'm not done yet because no, Nancy can't make it that easy. I'm actually going to off screen, not right now, I'm going to grab the Spellbinders snow stencil and I'm going to use some glitter gel and do the snow stencil, and then we'll add the sentiment. But that gives you the idea of how I'm going to use this one. Okay, so pretty easy, very nice, easy to do for that one. Okay, so I'm going to clean that one up. I'm going to come back in and we will start on the next one, which will be Santa Claus. Okay, guys, next one is going to be the Poinsettia corner. Have it already on here. I already did the sentiment. I letterpressed it and then I used the matching die to cut it out. So very easy. Merry Christmas. And we have gold brush cardstock, which is 5.5 by 4.25. This is going to be our matte layering piece. And I have this on the left so that when I stamp this, it will actually be on the right? It'll be on the opposite side. So we're using our letterpress cardstock. And for this one, I'm going to use the traditional black letterpress ink. If you were not able to get the letterpress of the month frame, I think this would be a pretty good alternative. I know that it sold out very quickly because Spellbinders was not expecting this to be so popular. They said they were going to try to bring it back in stock. I don't know if they'll have enough availability, but this is a good option if you were not able to get that one. Okay. Beautiful. And I just spray a little stamp cleaner, wipe it down. Good as new. That just slides off. Again, the advantage is without any heat, unlike foiling, you have to wait for everything to cool down before you can clean it up. This, I can wipe it down and I can move on to my next project. So what I want to do here is some simple coloring. Once I get it removed. Okay, so I can put this aside. And for this, have it very simple like that, right? So this will be our card. I'll cut this panel down a little bit so we have a little bit of that gold border. But I want to bring in some inks, right? And then I have just a simple, this is a Stampin' Up, but it's just a blending pen, blending marker. And you might want a piece of scrap paper. And all I'm going to do is, on my glass mat, I'm going to do some really simple coloring. Okay, so this is Lisa Horton Interference inks. I've had a lot of fun with these inks. This color is Milky Chocolate. So I'm just going to dab a little bit down on the corner of my glass mat there. Hopefully you guys can see that. And I'm just going to take my pen, go right into that, And I have a little pine cone here. I'm just going to color into that. Now these inks have shimmer in them, so when this dries, it's going to have some of that shimmer transfer over. You could also use a watercolor brush. I might switch to a watercolor brush because it might go a little faster here. Okay, I think there's only one pine cone on this one, so that kind of makes it easy. Then I just spray and wipe that up. And then to clean my brush or my pen nib, I just scribble that color out until it goes clean. Now, the tips might still be stained, but for the most part, that ink is out of there. Okay, let's go in with this charcoal gold shimmer. You can go direct to the ink pad too. Just touch it on the corner. I'm just going on the inside of this pine cone now. It's a little bit darker brown. I guess that's a gray charcoal. Well, doesn't matter. Close enough. See, we just scribble that out. Of course, you can use any inks you have, but I wanted to use these because they were shimmery. Okay. We have two different kind of reds. I wanted one that was kind of the berry color. This one. Warm chestnut. This is kind of a wine color. We'll come back to that. All right, let's start with Golden Sun, which is kind of an orangey red. Basically, it turns any ink pad into a marker with the blending markers. You can get them, almost everybody has them. Tombow has them. Stampin' Up has them, so. It's not the same as an alcohol blending marker. This is a water-based blending marker. It's got glycerin in it. And all I'm doing is just picking up that color and laying down. A little bit easier than watercoloring. Of course, you could do watercoloring, but all right, can you see how that's filling in the color? And then as it dries, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but there is some shimmer in there. Now I'm going to go in with this darker red, which is called Cherry Bomb. And go towards the middle and just pull that out where it's darker underneath, kind of shadowed. This paper does pretty good. I mean, I'm not adding too much water, so I'm not going to get any pilling, really, because this is a glycerin. I would not recommend using alcohol markers. You want to use some kind of water-based markers like I'm doing here. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to go in now and just kind of darken up some of these berries. I never know if these berries are supposed to be yellow or red or golden, who knows. But like I said, they can be whatever you want them to be, right? Or blue. Should they be blue? Probably should have made this card its own video. Sorry, this is going to be a little bit longer video, guys. Okay, is that all of them? All right, now I'm going to go in with this even darker warm chestnut, which is kind of a wine purple. And just kind of give a little shadow to my berries, a little bit of darkness. Okay. Now it's just adding some green, right? So the nice thing about these is you can just keep kind of twirling and scrubbing along the paper till it's clean, or we can just flip over to the other side and go right into the greens. I have a couple of different color greens here. Now you don't have to color this, or you can color it with water-based markers. Color pencils work really nicely on this paper. I've used zig markers. And I don't particularly, you guys know, enjoy coloring, but I think this is pretty easy to do. Okay, then we have some other leaves, and I will get in and do a little bit darker with these in a second, but we're just going to lay down this lighter green. How easy that's coming together. And then we have this darker green, which is Magic Garden. Same thing, go in, just add some darker colors. I think I'm pretty much done there. What do you guys think? Okay, now, oh, I forgot to do the centers. All right, I'll clean that out later. And then this is going to be really easy to assemble. Cut this down a little bit to 5 1/4 by 4. As close as I can get it. Might lose a little bit there. Just so I have a little bit of that gold border peeking out. Using my Spellbinders tape runner. A lot of you guys have asked me about it. Yes, it is super smooth. And I've not had any problems with it jamming up or anything like that. So this is that brushed gold cardstock from the Spellbinders shop. And we have our Betterpress plate, which I've panel colored in. This is really how easy it is, you guys, to put something together. Ooh, actually, I might save that for the inside. Remember, I made these. Nope, we're going to put that there. I made those wax seals, but we'll put them in another card. Okay. And then probably add some sequins to that and finish it off. That is a little crooked. There we go. Card number 2. Card number 1, I think should be dry by now. I could not find my snow stencil, so I cheated and I used the BB's Hummingbird stencil. This part here, I used some Gina K Glitz Glitter Gel, and see, now it looks like falling snow. That's going to be really pretty on there. I do have my sentiment cut out as well, so we can finalize and put this one together. I think it's pretty dry right now. Okay, let's move on to our third card, which is going to be Santa Claus. I'm going to put all 3 of these in one video. If you guys want to, you can always fast forward by tapping the right side of the screen. Double tap that pretty quick, and that will fast forward you. If you missed anything, you can double tap the left side of the screen over here, and it will rewind for you. And we have one more to go, using the new Betterpress plates, and that is Santa. So for Santa, we're going to do something very similar. We're going to do some coloring with him. So I have my Betterpress plate. I have the hot foil Believe sentiment from the Snow Garden collection. So that's ready to go. I have some red cardstock and my card base ready to go. So all we need to do is letterpress Santa. And then we do have a sentiment which says, have a holly jolly Christmas. I'll probably do that and put it on the inside. I don't need that right now. So let's bring in our Betterpress. All right, now for Santa, I'm going to do him in a couple of different color inks, or attempt to, I should say. Got my Betterpress paper ready to go. For his hat, we are going to use some strawberry. I'm going to reference back the image here. So really just this top solid part and this. And then for the rest of him, I'm going to wipe off his eyebrows. We don't want him to have red eyebrows. I think I will do in black. This one's kind of cool because I was thinking I could really just mass produce this one and just stamp it out in red or black only, but I'm going to take my time on this one. Okay. And then we are going to color him in a little bit. All right. Okay, Santa, let's go for a spin. very happy with that. All right, Santa, you look great. You need a little color in your life. I didn't want that whole piece, Santa. All right, so to color Santa in, I'm going to do kind of the same thing. I am going to grab my blending pen marker, whatever you want to call it here, kind of clean off all that excess ink. All right, and then we're just going to color a little bit of Santa in. So we're going to take some of the apricot from the Betterpress ink collection, smush that down on my little ink pad here, or the glass mat here. And then again, just pick up some of that color. Give him a little rosiness in his cheeks, just a little bit. I still have some of that red on my pen here that I didn't do a very good job at cleaning off, so that'll actually help. All right, once I think I have that all scribbled off, grab a little more of that apricot. Just to give Santa kind of a fleshy color here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Then I'm going to grab some gray ink. Now, Betterpress doesn't have gray ink. But I do have some gray archival ink. I'm not going to use very much, just a little smidge there. Again, just make sure my brush is clean. Give them a little bit of whiskers here, a little flicks. Nothing major. I'm going to start from the bottom of his beard and kind of just shadow that in a little bit. Again, just starting on the outside edge, just adding some flicks of color. Just so he's not bare white there. All right, there's Santa. He looks amazing. Okay, now we're just going to color this down, or cut it down, and assemble him, and he is done. Santa, you're so easy. So cute. Okay, so let's bring that card base in. We have our back panel. We have our believe. We're going to cut Santa down to 5 3/4. Maybe I should oval cut Santa. Let's oval cut Santa. Modern ovals, stylish ovals. I think we're going to have to go with stylish Santa. You be styling, Santa. Oh my gosh. Yes, Santa. He is almost done. I'm going to leave a little room at the bottom so we can attach his sentiment. Let's make sure this is pretty straight. Is that straight? That doesn't look straight. I can't tell. Close enough, Santa. A little tape on there. There we go. And then I probably will letterpress his sentiment, which is now lost. Where did I put it, Santa? Uh-oh. I lost Santa's sentiment. Oh, there it is. Okay, which is the Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. I will put that on the inside. So here we go. Here is Santa. Again, the hot foiled sentiment is from the Susan Tierney Cockburn Snow Garden set. So that is hot foiled. And there's Santa. Beautiful. And he does have that pressed in letterpress look. I'll probably put some sequins on there. And then we have the Merry Christmas Poinsettia corner. This one came out pretty good, considering you guys know I don't like to color. And it's hard to see, but there is a little bit of shimmer in there with the coloring. And then Season's Greetings is the Season's Greetings Evergreens. There we go. So 3 new holiday Betterpress plates. Go check them out over at Spellbinders. I'll put the links down below. If you had fun hanging out with me, I know this was an extra long video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to go do shopping, I'll put the links down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.